on to this mid-morning taste challenge. We have two 40% alcohol, 3-year age, blended Scotch whiskies. They're not really well known, but they're kind of known. There you go. All right, so the first one is J.W. Dant. The company was founded in 1836. It started as a bourbon distillery, and then they branched out and started getting gin, vodka, Scotch whiskey, etc., made for them. They didn't own a distillery in Scotland, but apparently, well, supposedly or possibly, J.W. Dant was bought out by Heaven Hill in 1993. Now, I was reading on Wikipedia, but they provided no source material. The article said J.W. Dant was independent until 1993, 30 years ago, when it was bought out by Heaven Hill. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's not. But we do know, and I have material to back this up, source material, it was introduced in 1830. I'm talking about the company. Now, I don't know when the Scotch came out. For all I know, it could have been 1930. But it's blended Scotch whiskey, and it's bottled in Kentucky. All right? All right. So it's got a shield with fleur-de-lis, a lion, and two lions. No, a lion and a unicorn holding it up with a. It's just some. They're trying to make it Scottish looking. A liter bottle, distilled and blended in Scotland, imported and bottled in Kentucky. Ooh. Now, nowhere on the bottle does it say Heaven Hill. Nowhere, but I can provide the material if you need it. Age 36 months, and then there's an entire essay on the back. The past. Although the origin of distilling is veiled in obscurity, it is generally believed that the earliest practitioners of the art. There's a whole article on the back of the bottle about Scotch whiskey. You need very good vision or a magnifying glass to read this. Secondly, you have to be willing to read it. Well, I have read it. I read the whole treatise. There it is in focus. There you go. You can shoot that, read it, but I'm sure no. Okay. So this liter bottle, now I'm not kidding about this. This liter bottle was $8.99. $8.99. Now that was 5 years ago. Still looking pretty cheap. I was looking at specs in Texas. Looking pretty cheap. Who makes it? Who makes it? Yeah, I don't know who their contractor is. Now, here's the little bit more famous product. I'm not saying way more famous because I don't know how many people drank White Horse. I looked up video reviews for it. There weren't that many, at least not in English. They had some foreign language ones. Introduced in 1890, age 3 years. Once again, minimum. That's the minimum. Can't go lower than 3 years. They're saying on the website the heart of White Horse's Lagavulin Scotch. So that's where the flavor's coming from. The base is grain whiskey. It's probably 80% grain whiskey, age a minimum of 3 years. And then they're adding flavor from the single malt Scotch, which is Lagavulin. You say, hey, isn't Lagavulin owned by Diageo? Yeah, and so is White Horse. Okay, whose single malt goes into this? Well, that might change week to week. I don't know that. I shouldn't say that, but I don't know. Okay. $8.99 for the liter. $38.99 for the handle of White Horse. Neither one is expensive, but the J.W. Dant is even cheaper. But my experience with Dant, it's not bad. It's not going to change your life. You know, you're going to drink it and say, if you drink it, you're gonna say it tastes like standard whiskey, like every other whiskey I ever tried. Okay, yeah, it's like basic, but that's cool as long as it's reliable, right? Like you say, well, I bought this car, 4 door sedan. I bought a 4 door car. It's basic. It's got a 4 cylinder engine. I hope it lasts a long time. I hope it gets good gas mileage, and I hope it has a comfortable enough ride. Yeah, that's what counts, right? Because you say, well, I could have bought a Hyundai, I could have bought a Kia, I could have bought a Toyota, I could have bought a Nissan, I could have bought not a Ford. They don't make cars anymore except for the Mustang. You know what I mean? I could have gone across the board, but I don't know which is the best to buy, and is there a best? Like the main thing most people are thinking is it going to be reliable? Because I just want to drive it to work and back home, and probably might take a trip once a year in it, and go to the store in it. And I'm not really trying to be fancy with it. I just want it to be serviceable. Right, that's the main thing. Is it serviceable? Now, no one's going to say, "Oh man, I always dreamed about having a Nissan Sentra." No one's going to say that, but they're going to say, but they might say something like, "I dreamed that I would never have a car note." Oh, well, now see, that might be the thing that clinches it. So the question is like, is a Nissan Sentra reliable? Is a Nissan Versa reliable? They're small, but are they going to last a long time? Will I get a good value out of it? Is the JW Dant reliable? Is the White Horse reliable? I know I'm not expecting a lot. I paid $38.99 for this huge bottle. I mean, I get it. It's not like going to win a war. It's not a $400 bottle. I go to liquor stores a lot. Y'all know me. I was at a store yesterday. I told somebody, I said, there's a $329 bottle, $329. He said, oh, I bet that stuff's good. It's called White Owl or Night Owl. It was a bourbon, like an owl, something with an owl. And I said, yeah, but would you pay $329? He's like, I bet it's good. Now he doesn't answer the question. But I know the answer. There's no way he's going to pay $329 for it. He says, well, I drink Wild Turkey 101. No, how did he say it? I drink 101 Wild Turkey. He says this twice. I drink 101 Wild Turkey. I said, that's a good product. It's like really well known. I said, but it's not a $329 bottle. But the question is the elevated price justified? That's the whole question. I don't know. I never paid $329, and I'm not planning to. But so that kind of goes back to the analogy about the automobiles. It's all a trade-off. It's all a balancing act, however you want to approach it, really. Now, the appearance, they're both gold, and they're pretty pale gold. They look fine. Now, are you going to get world class for 3-year age blended Scotch? Well, first of all, who thinks that, right? That would be the first question. Who thinks that, right? And you say, secondly, who cares? Like, right? Most of these people I talk to that drink beer, wine, and liquor, A, they don't care about YouTube, and B, they don't care about what reviewers think. So they don't care. They don't care. I'm like, oh, I do beer reviews. No, I watch all these other people. And then it's like tunnel vision. Like, they're like, oh, yeah? I buy 101 Wild Turkey. Like, they don't care. It's like aloof to them. It's like, who does that? And I get that. I understand, because they're thinking, who would get on the internet and read about liquor? Back to A, B, C. Who would get on the internet and read about liquor? Secondly, who would do reviews of it? And thirdly, why would they care, to try all these and say, oh, look at that's got apricot. I noticed that that guy in New York said that too. I'm part of that. I do it. I watch it all the time, but I understand if people don't care. Like they say, their thinking would be, that's strange. That's strange that you would want to look at that aspect of it. Okay, fair enough. I understand. When I mean Siskel and Ebert, I used to watch those movie reviews. I don't think that many people were watching that. I did, because I used to like movies in the 80s, and then I got to where I was like, I can't stand watching a movie, but that was then, this is now, but it's the same approach, whiskey, movies, it's the same whole conceptuality of it. Yeah, okay, this smells like cereal grains. You say, oh, not that again. But if you said, oh, not that again, I would say, yes, that again, because these products are so much alike. It's like, okay, it's made with cereal grains, corn, rice, wheat, barley malt, rye, whiskey, the same old stuff in various combinations. This age, well, in the United States, might be 2 years. 2 years. True story, though. But in Canada, Ireland, Scotland, be aged 3 years or longer. But I mean, it's the same old thing. It's like you're just flipping it around, twisting it around, doing different applications for it, and pricing it accordingly, or maybe above accordingly. But so then you just, it is cereal grain, so it's going to be a general commonality. Smells like cereal grain. Okay, so this one might be a little bit more honeyed, which is another common thing with bourbon, American, not so much American blended whiskey, but bourbon whiskey, definitely Canadian, oftentimes Irish, and not that rarely with Scotch. It's not that rare. I can pull some Scotch out my collection that are specifically described as honeyed, like Johnny Walker Gold Label Reserve. That's like the first thing they say. We pick. What do they say? We choose blended Scotches, or well, they blend them after they choose them, but we choose Scotch whiskeys that have a predominant. I'm not saying this verbatim because I can't remember exactly what they said, but I know what the theme of it was. We use Scotch whiskeys that are very honeyed. Not that they add any honey, no, but they have a honey like flavor. Okay, and it tastes just like that. Craig Swinson says, 300 viewers, make sure to hit the like button. Hit the like button if you like to do it. All right. So the Dant is going to bring us into the Chivas Brothers. Now, I know you might be shaking your head saying, well, how does J.W. Dant, started in Kentucky, still bottled in Kentucky, bring us into Chivas Brothers? Like there's no connection whatsoever. Well, there is a connection. It's not exactly a strong connection, but it's a connection. And it's this. Heaven Hill does J.W. Dant and bottles it. Well, they don't make it, but they bottle it. Okay. Now, the next one I'm bringing in is another Scotch whiskey bottled by Heaven Hill. Ain't owned by them, ain't produced by them, but it's bottled by them in the same type bottle. And it's called 100 Pipers, introduced in 1965 by Chivas Brothers. You say, oh, okay, that's the connection. They're both bottled by Heaven Hill. Right. Now, you say, what if they're both made by Chivas Brothers and they're not telling you? I would definitely not be shocked by that. Those are some great old ads from the White Horse you have been sharing. Oh, yeah, you like them? I'm glad. Well, that's the last one today. That's it. Then I'm bringing in Yuengling ads. That's going to be good, right? Yuengling, some brewery photos and some old advertisements. Oh, yeah, that's going to be good. I got them all saved. Jason Cleveland says, good morning. Good morning to you, Jason. All right, so now let's go. I think it's going to be a very tough taste challenge, which means that J.W. Dant's going to win because it's cheaper And if you can't tell them apart, like Carlo Rossi said, if you can't taste the difference, why pay the difference? And I totally agree with that. So here we go. It's very honey. It's like honey topped white bread crust and the bread dough. It's honey. So you say, oh, I can't stand Scotch. It just throws me off. It tastes like smoke and peat and it's gross. Well, I'm going to assure you right now, this does not taste like smoke and it definitely does not taste like peat. It tastes like what I just told you. Honey topped white bread crust. Think of Sara Lee honey topped white bread. Go buy some, try it, say, oh, okay, honey top, and then go get the JW Dant. You'd be like shocked. Huh, it's the same thing, except that's 40% alcohol and the bread has no alcohol. But you know what I mean. It'd be a crossover. All right, over here. Ha ha ha. No, but I'm not kidding. Actually, I'm serious. Okay. Yeah. It is honeyed, but not as much. Smoke. Yeah. No. No smoke. No peat. Medium bodied, medium long finish. Same thing. Like they're so similar. Medium body, medium long finish, mild, mellow, no bad bite, easy going. Yeah, if you want to say bland, okay, I'm game because I know what I'm dealing with. I bought the products. I know the price point. I know the aging. So yeah, right. Not a surprise. Not really a mystery to me. Some people will tell me, well, that product's kind of cheap, and I'll be like, really? Well, I did pay $8.99 for it, so I kind of knew it was cheap. I mean, I don't get upset when they tell me that, but I'm like, well, I know. I just in the video I said the thing was $8.99. I know it's cheap. I know that's not really the normal price for tequila. When I buy these products, I do know what I'm dealing with. When I did Earthquake High Gravity 12%, I definitely knew what I was dealing with, and I really knew about 3 hours later. I laughed, but I wasn't laughing then. In 2012. Oh man, these are close. I'm telling you, I really think they're made by the same distillery. I can't prove it. I'd never be able to prove it, but I mean, it tastes like. But like it's like this one's really cereal grain oriented with a little honey note. But on the other hand, this one over here, but see, this one's really cereal grain oriented with a little honey note. Yeah, but that one's medium bodied, whereas this one is medium bodied. This one has a medium long finish, and this one has a medium long finish. But you see, but over here, there's not a whole lot of like rough edges, and it's pretty smooth and it's easygoing and mellow. If you want to say bland, we'll go along with it. But over here, there's not a lot of rough edges, and it's medium, smooth, kind of mellow. And if you want to say bland, we'll go along with it. You see the kind of crossover there. You might be watching and saying, "Well, what are you talking about crossover? Every description is identical between the two products." I know, but not the price. So yeah, I was looking at specs in Texas, and I can get to Texas in 3 hours. Yeah, I'll just drive 3.5 hours and go get some Dant in a handle. Yeah, I don't think so, but they're glass bottles, because that matters. But I mean, I do go to Texas at least once a year. I think I always go to. Well, I didn't go this year, but I do go a lot. But if I cross the river, the state line into Texas in Orange, Texas, I know I can find Dance. And if I have to drive to Beaumont, that's only 24 miles down the road. Then I just go to Texas, to Houston. Yeah. So, but I mean, I can get a liter bottle here. I can get a liter bottle in Metairie. So They were having it for 21.95. 21.95 for a whole handle of Dance at Specs. Well, I bought the White Horse for 38.99 at Star. Why would I pay $17 extra for White Horse when I could get the Dance for $17 less? And I don't even know if I could tell these apart, because right now I'm tasting them and I don't know which is which. And I am not kidding. I'm not like framing this or playing a game, like secretly really know and staging it. I do not know at this point, but I'm going to try to make a good determination. But man, Brando says, good morning, Jay. Are you keeping up with the Marlins? Up with what the Marlins are doing this season? I keep up with every team because every day I check the standings and I check every highlight. And I even check the how long the game lasted, and I check how many people were at the game. Well, at least what they announced. But yeah, I can't believe it. I thought the Marlins would be better, but if you'd have told me that would be the case June 20th, 2023, I would have said, oh, you're crazy. But there it is, 43-31. I know Luis Arias has 2 5-5 games this week. I know. I was thinking about that this morning. I was like, man, I was really thinking about this. I would love to go back to Florida and go see the Tampa Bay Rays and then drive down to see the Marlins. Once you get to Tampa Bay, going to the Marlins game is a snap. I mean, there's nothing to it then. I mean, that's an easy drive. And then then you got to go to Key West. You're down there, got to go to Key West, I'm not kidding about that. And then I can drive from Miami to Louisiana in one day, as evidenced by the fact that I've driven from Miami to Louisiana in one day more than once. You be tired when you get home. You be worn out, but then you're home. See, you're like, oh, I'm so tired, but I'm back home. I don't have to wake up at another hotel and check out. I mean, I made it. I did it. So it's that kind of thing. And I know where to park for free at Tampa Bay. True story. I know where to park for free at Miami. Now, I'm not saying the car is going to still be there when you get back, but before 2020, I'd have been confident, like, oh yeah, it'd be fine. Now, since you have all, never mind. We'll save it for later, but you know what I mean. But in office, but in various cities, but like they say on the streets, crime unpunished is crime rewarded. But getting back to this, getting off of paleo conservatism and getting back to this, because we don't want to say too much, because I'm not into that, saying too much. I mean, I might allude to things, but I wouldn't say too much. But I would like to go to those 2 cities and see some games. Always in the past, I got some good deals on tickets, and I mean good deals like like $4 a game. You say $4 a ticket, right? Sure, you're a liar. No, I'm not a liar. I got the ticket stub. I can prove it. And but then on the other counterpoint, I would like to go back to Chicago and see the up and coming Cubs and the the terrible, horrible White Sox. Well, one good thing about them is they always fire their managers. But on the other hand, they never get better. See how it works out? They fire the manager and they don't get any better. You say, but that's only been going on for like 100 years. It's true, but they don't. But they do win a World Series once every 100 years. So that's the thing I like about the White Sox. Being a White Sox fan is a benefit, because you can guarantee that once every century they'll win a World Series. See? Now, when you're thinking about it along those lines, you get a little confidence. um. Anyway, I'd rather lose every season than have to bang on a garbage can to win, though. But I didn't say that. But anyway, yeah, I did say it, but I didn't. But anyway, hopefully, no, people are listening. But but I mean, hey, you said they all do it. Look at the Patriots. Oh yeah, right. I know that. Look at the Saints. But don't say that in New Orleans. They'll say, "Oh, you shouldn't say that." When people ask me about that in New Orleans, I say, "Well, I did some research on that. Did you? No, you didn't do the research." I said, "Do you know that the NFL warned them 3 times? 3 times. Well, twice. They said, we know what you're doing, and we can give you the evidence. You need to stop it." That was the first time. Then they came back later and they said, "Sean, we know what's going on, and don't let us catch you a third time." But third time came. They said, "That's it. You're out for a year." And then everybody was in an uproar. They're picking on us. They picking on us. They picking on us. And I was like, they're not picking on you because they warned them like twice. They had a plethora of video evidence. They didn't even bring up the thing about the medicine cabinet where the people were going in and taking well, we won't get into that, but it's like, oh, well, if it's your team, then it's okay. Oh, that's right. I forgot that rule. If it's my team, then it's okay because everybody does it. Oh yeah, right. Anyway, never mind. Why did I even bring it up? Okay, let's go to the comments. Oh yeah, back to the whiskey. That's what the video is allegedly about. It tastes fine. It's regular. It tastes fine. I mean, it's regular. But, and this is an important but, maybe, and then even so, maybe, and perhaps, and even possibly, this one has more honey. But if you got to break it down that much, it's like, I don't think that's clear and indisputable evidence. I don't either. But I'm going to say, yeah, it's like you watch these football games or baseball, and they're like, well, they looked at the video 29 times. They still can't figure it out. And I'm thinking, do you know the rule? You know the rule? The rule says it has to be clear and indisputable evidence. Well, if you're looking at it 29 times, I'm pretty sure that's not clear and indisputable. If it was clear and indisputable, you probably have to look at it once or maybe twice, but probably once. And you say, oh, yeah, he was safe. Not 29 times. And you're saying, well, maybe. I had an uncle, he worked in aerophysics. No. It's not all of that. He's either out or he's not. And if you got to look at it, once you start questioning it, no, you go with the call on the field. Okay, but anyway, of that, but beyond that, I'm gonna say, honestly, I can't tell them apart. I hate to say that. It's not a cop out. No, I think a cop out would be to just take a guess because I got a 50-50 shot. It's 2 products, so I'll take a chance. That's not bad odds, 50-50. Wouldn't get that in the casino. And if I got it right, I could say, oh, yeah, I got it. I just knew because that one tastes like honey and the other one only tasted like honey. But then if I got it wrong, I could say, oh, they're so close. You can't even blame me. But I'm going to say, no, I can't tell them apart, and I don't know which is which, okay? I'm going to be honest. I don't like to fake these things. If it gets me banned from the whiskey drinking community, fine. I don't care. I didn't ever ask to be part of that. So anyway, I say I can't tell them apart. You say, well, that means the cheaper one wins. I guess that means the cheaper one wins, but I'm not going to say anything. Let's see which is which. White Horse. J.W. Dant. Oh, Good thing I didn't guess because I was going to say that was the white horse. I'm glad I threw in the towel. That gives me cover. All right. Um, so, well, and now people are going to say, "Oh, it's a conspiracy theory because you." I know what you're up to. I know what people are going to say. They say, "I know what you're up to. You take like a $50 scotch. Oh no, a $60 scotch. Then you go up against a $40 one, and you say, "Oh, I can't tell them apart. I guess the $40 wins." Then you take a $40 and go up against a 30, and you say, "Oh, I can't tell them apart. I guess the $30 wins." Then you take a 30 against a 20, and you say, "Oh, they're so similar. I guess I can't tell who wins." And then you go 20 to 10, and so then what you're I, I know what people are saying. You're taking all these things and you're trying to drag them down, drag them down, drag them down to the $9 product and say, oh, they're all the same. I'm not trying to do that because I don't even care. But whatever happens, happens, right? I mean, you can go look at the videos, you can see what happens. So, like I say at the beginning, it's your money. Buy what you want. I mean, after all, it's in a decanter. It's a crystal decanter. It's got a signature on it. And this this does not have got nobody's signature. It's not handwritten. It's a commodity. So yeah. Okay, let's look at the comments. Uh, so I am keeping up with the Marlins, like with every other 29 other teams. I lived in Chicago for a year, and I regret never going to Wrigley Field. I live less than a mile. You are a fool, Brando, because I went to like 10 Chicago Cubs games, and I live 900 miles away. You lived a mile away. I live 900 miles away. I went to like 10 games, and it was always so much fun. The Saints and how us long-suffering fans couldn't even enjoy a Super Bowl victory because of that scandal. Hey, but they did that to themselves. I don't defend that. Mr. R says facts. Do you keep track of all your taste challenges? I just wonder which brand has won the most ever. I don't keep track. It's all on the internet, so it's like let the internet keep track. But you know what I mean, Craig? It's like I have a general like remembrance of them, and I know the products that are grossly overrated, like Johnny Walker Blue Label. I know the ones that are grossly underrated, like JW Dant. So, you can kind of get a general. It's like a personal consensus. It's like, yeah, but you made a consensus with yourself. I did, but I mean, I'm trying to sort of like have a detached assessment of it, even though it's me only. I'm trying to have a detached assessment, like, well, I'm looking at myself, like, well, in 2018 you said this, yeah, and I'm trying to do that, and I think that's good because it kind of keeps you aloof from bias or whatever. Well, I mean, as much as you can be aloof, you can't totally be. It would be interesting to hear about the biggest winners and the losers in each category. Well, I know I'm never going to do that. So, but I think I have a general, like I said, a general idea of it. And I know the ones that, like the low lights that have grossly overperformed. And I know the highlights that have grossly underperformed. I mean, I have a general idea of that. Like, so if you said, well, what's some whiskeys that are very overrated? I could say, yeah, I know what they are. Or, I mean, underrated. Underrated. I could say, yeah, yeah, yeah. And you said overrated. I could say, yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you consider different price ranges to be categories? They are categories in a sense, like low shelf, like people say bottom shelf. So yeah, low shelf, like the scum of the earth, right? Which they're all supposed to be horrible, horrible. And I would like to believe that. And in fact, let me say it right now. I'm just going to say it. They are all horrible. You say, well, why are you saying that? You don't believe it. I don't believe it, and I know it's not true, but I'm saying that for political reasons. Just to fit in with the in crowd, I'm going to say they're all terrible. In reality, most of them are pretty good, but you can't say that on the internet and fit in with the in crowd. So I'll just say, for convenience, they're all horrible. Then we got the mid range. I mean, they're okay, but to be correct, they're not any good. Don't buy them. I have like 5 dozen, but I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, forget that. And then we got the great ones, the upper level, the 80, 90, 110, $220 bottles. Oh yeah, they're the best. I can't get over it. I can't believe it. Why did I even wait to buy them? It's amazing. I'm in shock. Although I don't believe that in any way, I'm going to say that publicly because that gets me accepted. Uh, if I was being truthful, I would say, why is the $240 bottle not really that much better than the $9 bottle? But that would get me in a lot of trouble. That would definitely get me permanently banned from the whiskey drinking community. So I would never, ever dream of mentioning that. And I'm not going to, clearly, because I have some personal parameters. But I mean, if I was out of control and didn't know what I was doing, and like all over the map, acting crazy, talking out of my head, saying anything, I would say those things. But luckily, I'm guarded. I'm very guarded, and I'm careful. So, but oh yeah, definitely, most definitely, if you pay the $100 or the $50 or the $10, there's a great difference. Great difference. Um, Evidence notwithstanding. So yes, we have to look at these things very, very analytically. All right. So I think you see where we are there. So thanks for watching, and same with beer. A cheaper old Red Hook is often better than a hip, modern, overpriced IPA. Craig, I wish you wouldn't have said that. I am not looking. Do you know that I drank a beer, an IPA that was nearly 2 years out of date, 8.6%? Um, I posted that yesterday. I don't want anybody to watch that.